Hello, hello, hello po. Masantos siya kabusan, masantos siya labi, at si kayo namin. Kumusta kilan amin kakaaro? I bring you greetings of peace, hope, joy, and love in the name of God Almighty. And also in behalf of class 1986 of the Guban City National High School, we welcome you all to this 35th class reunion. And yes, it has been 30 years plus 5 or 35 years since we have graduated from um, the Gupan City National High School. Well, so it also means that it has been 35 years since my father died. I know that some of you may remember that during our graduation, I actually dedicated my message to my father who just left us behind at that particular time. But nevertheless, we bring in our hearts so much joy, so much memories for having been alumni of our alma mater. So we are celebrating today 35 years of God's faithfulness, 35 years of God having guided us after we left our after we left high school, and we are together in our theme sa Kayalinaan Malatya Ulupan for the Tropang City High Alumni 1986. And indeed, I know that many of you continued to meet together, and you have been faithful in joining our annual reunions or whenever it is organized or it has been organized. So you have been faithful in participating, and at the same time, you have achieved so much by donating some fund for City High to help with their projects, and also coming together in reaching out to some of our batchmates who were in need at some particular points of time. And I also understand that you have more projects in mind that you are trying to organize so that it will be able to help some of our batchmates to help them improve their living or to help their families, especially now that we are all affected by this pandemic due to COVID-19 crisis. So before I continue, I would like to give my salutations and greetings, especially to our president, Mr. June Zamora, and to all the previous presidents and leaders and members of our 1986 Alumni Association from 1986 until this time. I bring you my pagpupugay and heartfelt commendation for continuously carrying our torch of excellence. We are proud of you for representing us with the very best of what our batch can offer. Let me just mention briefly a story of friends having reunion. So there is this group of friends who tried to meet every 10 years. When they were 40 years old, so they organized their reunion and decided to choose Ocean View Restaurant as a venue for them. And the reason behind was that most of the personnel working there have good personalities, they look good, they look smart. So they said, let's go there. And so they did. Well, 10 years later, when they were 50 years old, again, they choose the same restaurant. And their main reason this time was because the restaurant have been improving their quality, and there's good and delicious food. They have good wine selection. So they said, let's go. Let's spend some money for this worthwhile restaurant. They have good food. They have the best wines ever. So they did. And 10 years later, again, they decided to go to the same restaurant, the Ocean View restaurant. And the main reason that they selected once again this place is because the restaurant have really been very accommodating to elderly people. So they have a space where they could just enjoy peace and quiet, and they could look at the nice view uh, of the ocean view. And so they did. And 10 years later, when they were 70 years old, again, they went to the same restaurant. And the main reason that they did so is because the restaurant have elevator, and it's accessible for wheelchairs, for canes, when for walkers. Okay, so then it will not cause so much problem with these elders. And so they did. And when they were 80 years old, 10 years later, so once again, they have to choose a place. And they again they chose again the same restaurant, the Ocean View restaurant. However, the reason behind was that because they have never been in this restaurant. They have never been in this restaurant. Well, I just hope that during their actual reunion, they did not forget to actually go during their reunion. We are still in our 50s, so I believe that we are all still enjoying the good food. And I believe that today there will be drinking, and there will be a good time of just recalling stories together, sharing fun together, and maybe sharing visions and goals together. And so I'm bringing you greetings from everywhere to everywhere, because I believe some of us are scattered in different parts of this world. And even us who are here in the Philippines, we are all over Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So let me greet you. Best wishes for a belated Merry Christmas and a blessed Happy New Year to all of us. And let me also take a special moment of thanking the family of Raymond Barroso for hosting the event for today. So looking back for all those 35 long years, or we can even say looking back at our own lives for 50 years. And I believe you all agree with me when we say that our lives have been very colorful. Our lives have been like a rainbow. We have experienced so much rain, but most of course, all of the time after the rain, the sun comes out. And both this rain and the sun helps to make the different colors appear in our lives. And that is life. Life is about using the whole backs of crayons. As we grow older, we collect or more colors appear in our life experiences. So we don't regret growing older because it's actually a privilege denied to many to collect as many colors as we can during all our lifetime. So who we are at 50s? Well, we say life begins at 50. All of us have our own careers and professions. We have our jobs. Looking back, well, this may be the careers that we have opted after graduation. Well, for some, maybe it's the choice of our parents. For some of us, we just did not have any other choice. Maybe that was what is available and what is affordable for some of us. But nevertheless, lahat po tayo ngayon ay may kanya-kanyang work or profession. Though some of us may have graduated from college, but we opted to be full-time as mothers or as fathers because of our children, our growing family, and that's fine. In terms of our current relationship, some of us are single. Some of us may have been doubled at a certain point of time, but maybe because of various reasons, we chose to be just single again. Some are single dads, single moms. Okay. Some are in a relationship, complicated relationships. Some may be married, couple without children, couple with pets as their children. The many of us have our own children, and maybe some are already taking care of our apos. Some of us may be healthy. Some of us may be suffering from some kind of illnesses, and we already have our maintenance bills. I hope that some of us are not waiting for our last few days. But it's also true that some of us have gone ahead of us. They have died of certain illnesses. They have died from accidents. Maybe they just have forgot to breathe. I mean, they may have fallen asleep and they never woke up again. I'm not sure if some of us lost our loved ones, our batchmates, because of this COVID-19. Well, whatever is, I hope that we are going to spend some time to just be silent and pray for those who have already gone ahead of us. Pray for their families, pray for peace and comfort, and for the provision of their needs, especially as we are in the midst of this pandemic crisis. Indeed, our life has been a journey. And life is a journey that we must take, whether we are prepared or not, or whether we are already expecting that the roads are bad or accommodations are bad. It's just a journey. And we found ourselves in long roads. And Parts of these roads are smooth. Parts of these roads are full of holes, big holes. Some parts are mabato, thorny, slippery, muddy. Some parts are flooding. Some parts are flat. Some parts are hilly. Some parts are mountainous. And that's just the life roads that we have been undertaking. But you know, our life, again, as we say, it's a journey. It's not a destination. So whatever or however the roads are bad or good, we just have to enjoy the unfolding and the process of this journey. We just have to make the best out of it. We have to take the most of what it can offer to us. Let us enjoy the beautiful scenery. Let us enjoy the presence of the people surrounding us in this journey. Taking note of also of their joys and sorrows. And if possible, offer them our helping hands if needed. Because you know, no man is on an island. No man stands alone. In this journey, we are co-sojourners. We are all co-travelers. We need these people as much as these people need us. In this journey, it is good to have a community traveling with us together, because this community, it is the hand to hold us throughout the journey of life. At a certain point of our lives, we face crossroads. Actually, every day we face crossroads. And some of these crossroads, we are ready. We know exactly where we are going. But there are moments in our lives that when we find ourselves at these crossroads, we feel afraid, confused, because we don't have a roadmap. But we also know that whatever our options at this particular time, at this particular moments, the decision that we make can define the rest of our lives, the rest of our days. I have a friend, and I talked with her after 30 years. And when we are sharing our stories together, she started crying. And I said, why are you crying? And she said, I hope I have made different decisions when I was in college. I don't know why I made those choices. Napakamaldita ko kasi. Well, of course, it's not good to dwell on those mistakes anymore. So we just said, well, we just thank God that you are okay now. You're happy, and she's actually using her skills to serve in her community. So she was able to overcome those mistakes when she made them when faced with those crossroads. Also, in terms of our relationships, we recognize that I have my own pathway, you have your own pathway. Your path is not my path, but at a certain point of time, our paths cross together. Our roads intertwined together. And we can say that was when we were in City Hall. So we met, we became friends, we became classmates. We spent some time, we eat and drank together. We spent laughing together. But there were also those who became our enemies or our foes. But we continued on our merry ways, and we were hoping that our paths never cross again. But for some of us, after our graduation, your paths may have crossed again twice, thrice, or many times. Actually, it was a joy to know that some of our classmates, our batchmates, have actually ended up being husband and wife or being in relationship together. So we were joking with one of our girl classmates, and we said, "Oh, you ended up with Mr. X, who was also one of our classmates." And we said, "So did you mean that during this time, pinapantasya mo siya?" We were just laughing or joking together. But indeed, it's good to know that some of our batchmates have actually ended being partners and built families together. And when I was also asking Myla, who is our president, he said, "Oh, it's Mr. John Zamora." And I said, "Who is he?" "I'm sorry about that." But he said, "Well," but she told me, "Well, she's from he is from our batch. And for sure he is a very good person." And do you know why he said that? He said, "Well, because he passed the standard of Pam Alice Paris. For him to be able to marry Jennifer, I believe, yeah, he should be a very good and qualified person, because knowing Mom Paris, for sure, she would think twice, or many times before entrusting Jennifer fully onto him." But of course, we know she could have just respected um, Jennifer's choice. But for sure, as a mother, she thought first on if June is the right person for her daughter. In 2019, we were all surprised when COVID-19 came. At first, I think hindi natin to pinapansin. We thought that it will just affect China. Some of us were indifferent. Some of us just went with our lives. But after a while, tayo pong lahat ay nagulat, because it has already become pandemic, affecting the whole world, and have turned the situation about 360 degrees changed. So we have been dealing with COVID-19 and this pandemic. So we have suffered from lockdown. Many of us have lost some of our loved ones because they were infected with this virus. Some of us were lost our jobs. Many children stopped schooling. It's good if they are able to access gadgets and internet resources. But if not, then it just means they could not participate fully. Although there's this modular system, but that also means they have to depend so much on their parents to tutor them, to help them. So if The parents are lacking with the teaching experience or the knowledge of what is being taught. Then again, the students suffer as much. But the good thing is we humans are known to be resilient. We can learn to thrive in our new normal if we have the mindset and the resources we need to adopt. And Filipinos especially are very adaptable. We also have to accept the fact that things will never go back to the usual normal again. We may need to continue creating a new normal. And we could not do anything but to accept it and to be okay with it. The result may not have been okay, but we have to understand, we have to put in our mindset that it is okay to keep on adjusting. It is okay to keep living in the new normal and to overcome the current situation. Because if not, we could never move on. We could never pass through this situation in our lives. As we continue dealing with all of these things, it is good for us to remember we are all special and unique. We are all different, but we all have our own special place in this universe, in the puzzle of the universe. We have a role to play. Each of us have our own roles to play that we need to contribute to be able to overcome this current situation. We should stop underestimating ourselves by comparing ourselves with others. It's our differences that make us unique and beautiful. Let's stop saying, oh, makaudilarad tan. Si karamot so marunong, si karamot so walay antato. Okay. Or we say, oh, agak unlad sa atan niya reunion. Lapod ta, ay ang kini magaganggana nira. Okay, they still look so young. Pero siya kaya mayamay laso. Uban ko, mayamay like kulubot na lupak. Mataba-taba lang. Ay si kumpare, ay agay latan ni apaaral tulan amin so anak to. Wala ni pampaaralan tong doktor. We just keep comparing ourselves, and so we feel discouraged and we feel so inferior. But please be reminded again, we are all unique and different. There's something that we can do that others cannot do. There's something they can do that we cannot do, but definitely there's something both of us are good at. And when they are put together, it can create a big impact in our community and society. So let us continue to celebrate being united with a common bond sa kayalinaan malutya ulupan. This is our lives. We have to treasure our lives. But life stops when you stop dreaming. So we need to continue dreaming. We need to continue setting our goals despite of all these difficulties that we are facing now. We continue to hope because hope ends when we stop believing. So let's continue to believe. Believe in God, believe in ourselves, believe in the people who trust and love us and cares for us. Love ends when you stop caring. You cannot continue saying, I love you, but you don't care anymore. Friendship ends when you stop sharing. How can we call it friendship when we actually do not take time sharing our lives, our happiness, our sorrows anymore. Happiness increases when shared with others. Agaylatan, paano tayo na ibaga na maliketak no ang gapoy pangibagaan tayo no. Pero na maliket tayo ibaga tayo nit arom. Mantipak tayo ni, no? Manlugtot tayo ni. Wow! Okay? Because that's the joy of being happy, the joy of having others share with our joys. And the same thing when we feel sorrowful. We have others who can help carry with us our burdens and sorrows. And as a team, as a group, we can only do so much if we work together. Alone, we can do so little. But together, we can do so much. I have a story to tell about some African kids. An anthropologist proposed a game to the kids in an African tribe. He put a basket full of fruit near a tree and told them that whoever got there first won the sweet fruits. So he gave them the signals, 1, 2, 3. To his surprise, instead of one running after another, they hold hands together. They took each other's hands and ran together. And when they reached the tree, they sat in a circle enjoying their treats, the sweet fruits. When he asked them why they choose to run as a group when they could have had more fruit individually, one child spoke up and said, Ubuntu, how can one of us be happy if all the other ones are sad? How can one of us be happy if all the other ones are sad? Our natural response would be, we run as fast as we could, get the treat, and enjoy it by ourselves. But these African children thought otherwise. Okay? They made sure that each of them have a share of this sweet fruit. Ubuntu in the Susa culture means I am because we are. I am because of who we are. You are, therefore I am. Your existence affects my existence. My existence affects your existence. We are all interrelated together. We are all interconnected with each other. So as we face all these challenges and difficulties right now during this pandemic, let us continue to live and hold on to God's promises. Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse 6 says, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. And in Philippians chapter 13 verses 13 to 14, it says, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. And in Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31, it says, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. Let us be strong in the Lord. I thank my God every time I remember you. As we go back to our new normal situation after this event, we do not know what is your actual situation right now, but always remember, God loves you. God cares for you. There are people who cares for you. You are special. You are different. You have a special place in this world. You cannot just give up. But we need to continue to be the best of who we are as we continue the crossroads of our lives. If there is any need for you to reach out to somebody, please do so. If you need someone to listen to you, please do so. I believe that some of us are willing to listen, to take some time. We may not have the solutions or answers to your problems, but we can be with you in thoughts, in prayers. Again, thank you so much. God bless us all, and we continue to celebrate being in Sakay Yaliknaan Malatya Ulupan. Again, God bless us all, and we may have a blessed, prosperous new year ahead of us. Thank you so much.